All right. Now, the coolest thing is not for me to do it. My coolest thing for you guys is for you guys to learn it and to master it. It's inside the book there. The new book coming out, we go into a ton of detail, but this is the key, you guys, to selling. When people come to your funnels, like that's what gets them to be inspired to buy, is you telling their story, taking them on a journey. And if they have the same epiphany that you had, they're going to give you money. They're going to join your mass movement. They're going to follow you to whatever it is you want to take them and be able to give the transformation that they want, that they need, and they desire. And that's the key to what we talked about today. So with that said, what I want to do, I want to introduce our next speakers. And these are, I'm so excited for their presentation. So the first time I met these guys, I was actually slipping into Epiphany Bridge story mode. Sorry, boom, back to the back story. Okay. You guys see me do this over and over again, huh? All right, so probably 2.5 years ago, we got a call at our office from this young couple, and they're like, hey, we just got our network marketing. We want to join Inner Circle. And they're like, okay, well, it's $25,000. They're like, whoa, okay, we're not ready to join it yet, but we're going to be your biggest success stories ever. And they made a video of them saying like, we love you. We're going to be the biggest success stories ever. And I was like, okay. And so I watched the video. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I get those, honestly, every once in a while. And I was like, okay, I hope to hear from them again, but I don't really plan on it, right? And so that was, again, a little over a year ago, or 2 years ago now. Anyway, and then last Funnel Hacking Live, I was at the round tables, which we're doing tonight. I'm sitting at a round table with like 30 people around, and all of a sudden, Brandon came up and he's like, hey, everyone, stop real quick. Russell, you changed my life. I'm like, what? He's like, do you remember the video we sent you like 1.5 years ago? I told you we're gonna be like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, not really. And then his wife came up and I was like, oh, like together, I recognized, like, yeah. He's like, dude, we're making $100,000 a month right now and we're killing it. And I was like, are you serious? And it was so cool. And then the next day they joined the Inner Circle. And over the last year, I've had a chance to hang out with them. And I've watched as they've taken this business, and we talk about the numbers all the time, and they've gone from making a lot of money to a really lot of money. But I think what's even more important is I've watched as they've transformed hundreds of thousands of women's lives through their movement and through what they're doing. Of everyone, I think in our Inner Circle, as far as all this cult building stuff, I think they've done the best job of building an amazing culture. And they're doing there's some super cool things. They've taken a lot of stuff I've talked about and taken 2 or 3 levels past that. And I'm excited for you guys to meet them and to hear their story and to learn from them. So everyone, let's stand up and put our hands together for Brandon and Kaelin Poland.
Feeling like Jackie Robinson, rocking the 42 in my Dodger fit, gripping the arm that was just struck by a pitch. Crowd the opposite, saying that I should quit, but I love the wall of it. You can hate, but you can't hurt me. You can hate, but you can't hurt me. My worth is safe. I can leave this they gassed up from grace. They go
now, pick funnels.
Thank you, Russell.
Y'all good? Say I'm good. Who's good? Y'all good? Say I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
Man, she looks beautiful, doesn't she? Man.
That's why I married you.
There's nothing but the grace of God that I'm up here with her right now. I'm so blessed, man. I'm so excited. You guys ready? Say I'm ready. Yeah? Man, was that mind-blowing? I was sitting back here like trying to take notes, like trying to be ready for this. Like every time Russell talks, it just like blows my mind, And it's so crazy, like 2 years ago, thinking like where we were at when we started and where we're now, and it's just like, it's almost unbelievable, to be honest with you guys. Like, it literally is.
I think it was like, last year this time, this same event was our very first ClickFunnels event ever. And so it's like crazy to think like, what you can do in just a year's time, So just remember that, guys, just remember.
Yeah, so we're so grateful to Russell and the ClickFunnels team, man. It's just like Kaelin made a hashtag. Tell them what the hashtag you made.
Hashtag do what Russell says. That's it. Like, if you ever question anything, it's just hashtag do what Russell says. Like, you're trying to reinvent the wheel. You're like, no, do what Russell says.
Yeah, do what Russell says. So, guys, today we want to just, take this time. We want to share a couple things. We want to tell you a little bit about our story, just recap, just so you kind of know, where we were, and it wasn't, the best place. How many of you guys are, maybe in a place, it's not the best place, It's so we started there, and then because you see people up here and then all the success and the money, and Russell will be like, yeah, so we sent this email and we made $900,000. And I'm like,
what, dude? Come on, really?
Like a year ago, we're sitting here, I'm like, really? It just doesn't seem possible, but the crazy thing is that it is. And so we want to share a little bit of our story. And then we want to give you guys 6 things. We want to give you guys 6 things, 3 tangible, 3 intangible, kind of like the keys to our success that we kind of sought out and said, okay, these were the 6 things that really perpetuated us to where we are and to where we're going and what's working. Does that sound good? All right.
You guys down?
Good. So
yes, I love you guys. I love the energy.
I hate to start on like a sad note, but no. Before we get to that, actually, tell them a little bit about Lady Boss and what that means. I never thought I'd be the CEO of Lady Boss. I'm like, they're like,
he's the boss, right? Lady boss, and he's like the boss, right?
like our friends from high school. Like I don't post a lot about it on my own stuff because I'm like doing so much Facebook over here, and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, I do this company called Lady Boss. They're like,
Weird.
oh, okay. So tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Lady Boss is basically an online personal training platform. It's a pocket personal trainer. And, it's so much more than that, though, because it's just our community of women is amazing. It's one of the things that we're going to talk about today because Lady Boss is basically, it's more of a mentality. It's not a program. It's the mentality that you step into when you do our program. It's all about being like, no more BS, like no more telling yourself you can't do it. Like you drop all of your excuses when you start our program. And it's really giving them that confident alter ego that they can step into and say, like, this time I'm gonna do it. I can do it. Like I am worth it. I'm a new person. And when they see themselves in that identity as a lady boss from the day before and then the day that they start our program, they already see themselves as successful because they're like, I'm a lady boss now. I can do this. So if there's any lady bosses in the audience, please don't stream this in our group, okay? I want to keep the love, but I'm just like so excited to be up here because our group, like our women, it's not me, it's them, it's our entire culture, and everyone that does our program and every lady boss out there, like they are the ones that have propelled this company to what it is.
Yeah, and the money is just crazy. Like literally, it feels so crazy, but it's just a representation of like we get messages like every single day, like hundreds of messages. Like I was gonna commit suicide, and then I saw one of your videos in my newsfeed. Like these women, like I was deep depression. I was taking medications, and now like I see this new outlook, and so like it's so hard to like put it into words, and like to be up here and like use ClickFunnels. So when Russell's like we want to change your business's lives and the people that you serve, and like we wouldn't have that opportunity without this platform. Yeah. And so like that's what's so cool. So starting 2 years ago when we first joined ClickFunnels, it was really kind of crazy because we had just came out of network marketing, and that's where we met. Anybody ever done a network marketing company before?
Like all of us, right?
Like everybody.
If their hand is down, they're probably just like, no, I didn't.
And it was amazing. We learned a lot. We learned so much, and we had some great success. And like I was like, oh, I saw her on stage, and I was like, oh, she's so hot. I'm like, and
where did I find this guy?
And that's where we met, and it was awesome. And how many of you guys know like ever seen network marketing or business in general? You had like a high, and it was like a rocket ship, right? And then like rocket ship has to come down eventually, right? Did that ever happen in anybody's business before? I had like fly up and like come down. One person, okay. Everyone else is like this. All right.
Yeah. Woo,
boom,
straight up.
Man,
forever.
Man. So it came down, and like literally we were making awesome money. It was like ridiculous, and then it was like overnight. Like it felt like it was overnight. You know what I mean? And it was like couldn't pay our rent. Yeah. Like I literally remember looking at my bank account and like really like that was at that point where you're like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I going to do? And on top of that, I think she was being courted, like when you network marketers try to recruit each other. So she was like flying off somewhere, and I'm home. Like, how are we going to pay our rent? Yeah. What are we going to do? Like, you're at the...
I remember being at the grocery store, guys, and like I don't know if you guys have ever had this moment where you're at the checkout and you're literally having like a panic attack because you only have a couple things, but you're like, I literally do not know if my debit card is going to go through here. And all I had was like almond milk and like a couple of other things. And I remember like every step I got closer to the checkout, I was like having a worse panic attack and like anxiety attack because I'm like, I don't know if what's gonna happen when my card doesn't go through. Like, am I just gonna like run away? Am I gonna just be like, oh, I forgot my money in the car and then like never come back? Like, what was gonna happen? I was playing it out in my head because I did not know, if we could even afford the stuff that we were trying to get. And that's the point that we were at. Like, the lowest of the low, we had hit rock bottom. And because we were rock bottom financially, you guys know that sometimes that it causes rock bottom in your relationship as well. And that's kind of where our relationship was at that point.
Like we were engaged and we wanted to get married, and it was like, you don't have any money. Like, how are you going to get married? Like, like you could just go to the courthouse or something. We're like, that's not the way it's supposed to work. Like, what are we going to do? And I remember like being at home in my bedroom and just like on my knees, like, God, like, what do I do? Like, just help me, like, show me something, like literally. And, it was so crazy because she came back and we were like, we're done with network marketing. Let's do something else. You know what I mean? Like, we need to do something else. Like, we need to change. We need to design our life instead of the other way around. Like, we're going to design our business around our life, not the other way around, right?
So we reverse engineered it. We were basically like, what do we want our life to look like? And then we reverse engineered and we were like, okay, like, let's build like a fitness membership, right?
Yeah. And so I don't know if you guys have known, but she lost 65 pounds in 6 months, which is like unbelievable. Yeah, give her a hand clap for that one. And her transformation is nuts. And then she went on to win an IFBB Pro card, which is like a lot of acronyms. Basically, like
Take no babble.
she goes to the gym a little bit. Like, she works out like every once in a while.
I've actually never been there.
You've never been to the? Oh, yeah. So this morning at like 5 a.m. it was like, okay, I'm going to the gym. I'm like, all right, like keep a bench warm for me. I wasn't there. I'm like, but anyway, so she went on, broke these 2 records, and so there's a lot of people that followed her because of this just incredible journey that she went on, and so we're like, well, what could we do? Like let's do a fitness membership, right? There's people, they do like $9 a month and you get workouts and meal plans, and like, let's do that. Like, that'd be awesome, right? And then we have an online business, and like the most experience we had with like a computer at that point was like, I played video games before.
And I like scrolled Facebook.
Yeah, I'm like,
That was it.
that's our tech. That's my background. People are like, what's your background? I'm like, well, I have a GED and I've played video games on a computer. That's my tech background. Like, that's about it. And so going from that, just saying, okay, so like, we're gonna build a fitness membership site, right? Like, now what?
Like, how do we do that?
How do we do that?
Like, what the heck now?
So 2 years ago, I'm like, we're at home, and I'm like, Google, right? And we're like, all right, we're gonna figure this out. So luckily, we each had a laptop. That was a good thing.
Yeah, we were like, that was the one step we did have.
Yeah, we had a laptop. So going from that, and then literally, so I called the one dude that I knew who like I didn't know anything about internet marketing 2 years ago, like nothing. I called the one dude I knew who I like remember him saying something about Google, and then like something happened, and then he lost all his money, but he like knew something about the internet, right? So I call this dude up, and we meet at a Flying Star, and I sit down and we start talking and catching up, and then I sit on his computer, and he's like playing with this thing, and it was like moving stuff, and he was like, yeah, this is cool. There's like clicks and upsells, and like you make these pages, and like this one's $7, and this one, and I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's so cool, right?
Like, that's sick. What is that?
So we left. I went home, jumped on ClickFunnels, and I was like, I have no idea how to use this.
Like, what is this stuff, right?
Like, we gotta,
anybody ever felt like that? Where you're like, what is this? Like, someone help me, right?
And so we jumped on ClickFunnels, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to use it. And I remember when I did the trial, Russell had like this $1,000 upsell, right? It was like, do you want? I'm like, $1,000? Are you kidding me? Like, free trial. And so we're like, but we need to find someone to teach us, right? Like, we were on a journey. We're like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna accomplish this? We need a mentor. We need a coach. Network marketing. You're like, get mentored and find people who are successful and model what they do. Like, how are we gonna do that? And so that was when we saw this video, and we had been.
How many of you guys saw this ad?
Have you guys ever
Tony
seen this video?
And Russell? Yeah, see, it got you too. That
was like half of the people in here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's great. Tony's going to be here, which is so cool. But we went to a UPW, and we were like, okay, Tony's the real deal, right? And it's so hard because there's so many people in like the business world, and everyone's like a marketer, and everyone's doing this, and it's like, but who really knows what they're talking about? Like, who can I really trust? You know what I mean? Who can I really, like, I'm going to spend this money. And so we saw this video.
And Tony's like, Russell's the real deal. We're like, well, Tony said it, so it must be true, right?
Must be true. and so remember when we were sitting down?
So the funny part about this is we were like, okay, so you guys know when you're about to make like a big purchase, like for us, $1,000 was a lot. Like, I didn't even know if like the $15 at the grocery store was gonna go through. So like for us to find $1,000 and spend like $1,000 on a training program that we weren't even sure like what we were doing or if it was worth it. And so we're sitting here, right? We've had this big long conversations, like days, like should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we do it? Should we not do it? Like, you guys ever done that? Like, you're like having this battle, right? And we're finally like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna spend $1,000. We're gonna make a lot of money. Like, it's totally worth it. Let's do it, right? And so I'm like, Brandon, okay, go do it. And then he comes back and he's like, well, I didn't do it. And I was like, well, what did you do? And he was like, well, you know, I bought the $99 one instead. I was like, no, that's not what we talked about. And so then I was like, buy it right now. So I had to like push the button for him. Like, we like had to like push the button because that's how hard it was for us to spend that money. And
that was the last $1,000 in our savings account.
Yeah.
And I totally wimped out. I was like I'm not a I
so then we spent $1,099 instead of just $1,000. But that's when the build began.
But it was, thank goodness we spent it. I didn't have the cojones. She helped me out. I was like, you push the button. You push it.
She was like, yeah, I can't. He did the same thing with the inner circle. He was like, Kaelin, do it for me.
I did it, I swear. So we bought the Funnel Hacks Masterclass and like the build began, right? We were like, we literally sat down for 3 weeks. So this was November of 2014.
Yeah.
And we sat down and for 3 weeks straight, we studied Russell's training like it was like we had just spent 40 grand to go to school, right? What normal people do.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you have a degree.
Yeah.
She has enough degree for both of us. I have a GED. Sweet.
So what we did was basically we played the video, right? And like most people would go through the video and you like watch all the training and you're like, oh my gosh, like, okay, Seinfeld sequence, like that's sick. Like soap opera sequence, like that's sick. That's awesome. That's such a good idea, right? And then you get to the end of all these trainings and all these hours and you're like, okay, cool. Like, now what the heck do I do, right? Well, Brandon, who's like the ultimate like implementer, like execution is like his thing. He's like, here's what we're gonna do. Every 30 seconds after Russell said something, he would stop the video and we would spend hours like mapping out just what he said in that 30 seconds. Like, so Russell's like, okay, so you need a soap opera sequence. Brandon would pause the video. He'd be like, okay, so let's build the whole thing out. And that's like how our business was built, right? I'm like, really, Brandon? And so these whiteboards are literally us mapping out like 30-second clips of the video at a time, us mapping out our entire business that way. And building it off of that foundation just made it awesome because instead of getting to the end and being like, okay, now what should we do? So this is one of the biggest things that you guys can do in your business. Whenever you watch the training, like you stop and implement it right away. Like build it for your business right then while it's fresh in your mind and build it out. Even though it takes a lot of time to do it that way, it makes the foundation for your business really awesome. So the crazy part is though, guys, that after this, like after mapping it out, building it out, like we are not like techie people, right? Like Brandon's not a cameraman, I'm not like a video editor, right? But we're like, we had to figure this out. Like if we're gonna launch a product, if we're gonna do something, like we just gotta figure it out. So we literally ordered on Amazon. Like our camera stuff. You flip it? Our camera stuff, like Brandon became the cameraman. Like we didn't like hire a like production crew. Like we didn't have like a super awesome video team yet. We were just like, we're just gonna figure it out and just do it. Like just
Dude,
do it,
that
right?
Thing was ghetto, man. Like you like put your phone in it and it was like the camera, right? It was sweet though. They're pretty cool actually. Like seriously. like all our videos are still filmed with that. And we ordered this backdrop from Staples and it was like, we had to get 2 of them. And so there was like a crease and we had like nailed it in our kitchen living room. Like it was literally in our kitchen.
Like that's in my kitchen.
Like that's the kitchen wall.
So I just want to tell you guys, like, it's not about the perfection of it. It's about just doing it, right?
Yeah.
And you can come back to it, and we couldn't afford it, but we figured out a way to do it. Like, the picture of the video being edited, that's literally on my phone because we didn't have, like, a video guy. We couldn't afford to hire someone to do it yet. So we just figured it out. We were editing all of these videos, like hundreds of them, via our cell phone on iMovie because we didn't know how to work, like, a video editing program. So we just, like, tried to figure it out. And then there was, like, the launch, you know, the start to the launch of the program.
Yeah, so, you know, we studied it, we sat down, we laid out the foundation. And really like you can lay like a house on sand, it's gonna wash away, it's gonna sink, it's gonna fall. But when you lay it on concrete, when you lay it on a solid foundation, like that's why it's kind of crazy because it sounds really, I hate saying this because you have to fail before you make it. Like we learned a lot about weight loss, we learned a lot about health and transformations in network marketing for 3.5 years. That's what we did. We sat down. We were the guy that like came to your house and like Russell's from Boise, so it's like network marketing is a deal there. Like we were the guy that came to your house like with the shakes and the video and like literally like we would go do challenge. We would call them challenge parties. So we'd be in a house every single night, just like try this and do this and selling and pitching, and we learned weight loss, right? So you have to fail and you have to master what you teach. But we've never done something with funnels, with Russell's guidance that has failed because we've laid that foundation that we've done his programs and we've implemented those things, and it's so key. And So kind of the next step, right, was like, we got to launch this thing. So this is 2014, November. We start the trading. We're rolling up. We're like, all right, December 18th, we're going to launch it. It's going to be ready.
Russell was like, okay, what are we going to launch? So we're just going to like ask everybody what they want, right? Because Russell said, like, just ask them and then give them what they want. So we launched like an ask campaign that got like hundreds of comments, and we just basically took all that and we're going to package it into a product. But we were like, how do we know anyone's going to buy it, right? So we decided to launch it before we made it, of course.
This happens to me at least like once a month. I'm like, Russell, what do we do next? He's like, ask your people what they want and then sell it to them. Like, that's what they want. Give it to them. And so that was just like, so we did like 4 videos. We like queued them up on Facebook and we promoted them. And I'm telling you guys, like we were literally like last $1,000 in savings. Like, we had to go to Kentucky. She's from Kentucky. And we had to go to Kentucky for Christmas, and we were driving there. It's like 22 hours, right? Like, the car had like just broken down, the lights on, and we're like, is it gonna make it? We're like, I don't know, but like, we've got to go there, but like, we just don't know, right? So we're riding, like we're literally riding on this whole thing to work. Like, if this doesn't work, we're screwed, like literally, like we were all in. And so we had set it up and we had launched it, and literally, I remember that morning, like, that was literally the craziest thing ever.
So we were in pre-launch, right? Like, the product wasn't ready for them to use, so we were just...
No, we had no product.
Yeah, there was nothing.
We had just built this, like, the sales and the funnel and, like, made it, right? We made it. Like, we had no product.
Because we were like,
just
well, we don't know if there's anyone that's going to buy it, so I'm not going to spend all my time making it, right? Like, Russell made a good point. I was like, well, I'm not going to spend all the time making it if I don't know if people are going to buy it, right? And so then we launch it, right, in the morning, and it's the day that we're leaving on this 20-hour drive, and our car's like broke down. We can't afford to fix it, so we're trying to drive 20 hours with a broken car. And this is literally us in the broken car after we've launched, because we're like, oh my gosh, this actually works, right? That's why we like look so excited. But what's really funny about it is we launch it to our community, and then it's just like all of a sudden all these dings are like starting to happen, right? And we did this whole countdown process and this whole like clue process up until launching the product. And the funny part is, like, we had no idea if it was gonna work, and all of a sudden these little dings started coming in. And I can just tell you guys right now, like, we were in our living room, in our little tiny house, right, that we like had to almost miss our rent on. And I remember like those first dings coming in, and they were like, what, like $200. And we were like jumping around in our living room, screaming at the top of our lungs, because we're like, it works, it works. Like, there's at least 2 people that bought, right? If you could get like 2 people to buy, you can get like 1 million people too, right? And so we're jumping around, like crying, laughing, screaming. And it was like probably one of the best moments of my life, because we were like, oh my gosh, it actually works. And by the end of that day, if you guys can see the little screenshot, I went back through and like actually found like all of these. But by 8:00 p.m. that night, we had made like $13,000. And we were like, oh my gosh, right? Like, this is it. This is it. And it was awesome. And then we were like, oh crap. Now we have to build it, right? Like, we have to do it.
We just sold 250 people on this amazing program, and we don't have any of it done, right?
I'm not sure if that was really smart or really crazy.
Yeah. But Russell said, he was like literally on his video, he's like, you don't even need a product, just like make what people want, and then like if they buy it, then like create it in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. And
so we're just saying, if we can do it, you guys could totally do it, okay?
So you know, long story, like from there to now, just to bring everything full circle, is we launched the product, we didn't have it. The process of the next 3 weeks, literally, like, okay, so don't ever do like a launch in the morning.
Yeah.
Do it in the evening. We were up the entire, like, we had supposed to launch at 8 a.m. We were up the entire night. I think we finished at like 7. Like, literally 7 a.m. We finished the program, like, filmed, like, we were like in gyms, like we had to go to this
12
gym.
12 hours straight.
Yeah, because like gyms are always full of people, right? And they're all like 24 hours now. And so we had to go in this gym like 1 p.m., or
1 a.m.
Like 1 in the morning, filming all night and putting together this program. And we put a lot, like literally 24 hours straight, like for 3 weeks to build this thing out. And it was amazing. It was really good. And so $1,099 investment.
You see that? You like that 99?
And it's in pink. I'm like, really? All the slides are pink.
$1,099 investment.
It's so crazy.
So
And so basically the moral of the story is like, do what Russell says and give him all your money because
Do what Russell says.
Clearly, right, Russell?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like,
give him all your money and do what he says. 30 seconds at a time.
But seriously, I'm like, well, this is the thing though, is like your heart is gonna follow where you put your treasure, right? So if you put your treasure, if you put your money and you invest it in stuff, just like as long as it's the right stuff, and I'm telling you, this is the right stuff. That man is the right stuff. He knows what he's talking about. And so 1,099 to 220 and 2.3, and we're on pace to break 3 like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. It's totally crazy. So, anything else?
No, I'm just excited. We hit like the 3 mil mark tomorrow,
I'm
so it's
scared.
like really cool.
So,
Because it's not the money, it's just the scoreboard, right? Like, I don't care about the money, it's just the scoreboard. Like,
She's
I'm just
so
really
competitive.
competitive. If you guys couldn't tell.
don't play sports with Kaelin. She'll
Number
win.
1 rule.
So we want to talk to you guys next about like the top 6 things, like digging in the meat, like give you like some real stuff that hopefully you can walk away with and take and implement, because it's been a roller coaster ride for us, but we've learned so much and we've absorbed so much, and so we want to just give back in like any way that we can. So the first thing,
We're going to talk about 3 intangible things and talk about 3 tangible things. And why we wanted to separate it this way is because I think a lot of the times the intangible kind of gets devalued. And I think it's one of the strongest things, like in our community and in our business, the intangible is what propels our business. And I just want you guys to realize, because I know this sounds like super obvious, but I'm going to dive in on this because like their success is your success. And I just want you to know that your business is built on the foundation of the results that you get people. Okay? And now you're saying, Kaelin, but like I don't have like hundreds of thousands of people. Like, I just, maybe I'm working with a group of 10. Like, I don't have a ton of testimonies. And I just want you to hear me. Like, you only need 1 testimony. Okay? You only need 1 testimony. So dive in, put your time into 1 person, get a great testimony, and then 1 will turn into 5, will turn into 10, will turn into 100, will turn into thousands, right? It also starts with your personal testimony, right? Your testimony, what you're doing. Because then you can actually help people get the results that they want. And this kind of gets overlooked a lot, I think, because we're like, yeah, like I can make a product that everyone wants to buy, right? But everyone can sell something once, right? Everyone can sell something once, but we want to keep people around. You want to keep your community to continue to buy, right? To continue to buy into your program and to buy into you and to want to be a part of your community. So as soon as like the next thing, like Russell, it's like everything Russell puts out, like we all buy, right? Because we're like, well, we're going to buy it.
Because it works.
Exactly, because it works and it gets results.
Because it works.
Yeah, so our community is basically based off of the transformations and helping people get success. It's the number 1 thing in our business, in our office. Like every week we post a transformation of the week that fuels us for that week. Because the results you get people is gonna be the fire to your business. It's what's gonna make you burn brighter than everyone else. Is when you actually help people do what they wanna do. Oh, the second thing, so culture. This is like my favorite thing right here, okay?
Go, baby.
Culture. So the Lady Boss culture is just huge. Culture. It is amazing because we've just given them this identity shift, right? And culture in your business and in your community is all going to be about the identity that you give them and you allow them to step into. That's like the first step. And for us, I'm going to give you guys some of the tools that we use to build that culture. The first thing I would say is my posture and polarity. On social media, on Facebook, on Snapchat all the time. I'm super polar. If you guys have ever seen my stuff, like I'm wild and crazy and like super like do it or get out of the way. Like no excuses. And if you're gonna give excuses, like no wimps in my program. That's kind of how I am. And the reason I'm super polar is because I want to build the right culture in my community. And I want the women that are like me to attract to me and the ones that aren't to repel from me. Because I don't want that in my culture. Because it's like, yeah, you could sign up a ton of people. You can sign up 1 million people, but you want the ones that are like you, the ones that you don't have to fight to tell your message, okay? Because then you don't have people like repelling what you're saying, right? Your whole community is like mini you. And it's so funny because like in our Facebook group, which is one of the tools that we use, yesterday, this is how you know they're all like mini me's. Yesterday, one of them posted in the group and they're like, so how many other lady bosses have their concealed carry, right? And there's like 300 comments and probably like 10 or 15 of them like have their gun like Cerakoted the same color as me. And I'm like, yes, Like, I love this thread more than anything you guys would ever know, but that's how you know, right? Because I'm so polar that I attract the people, the women who want to be like me or who are like me, and repel the ones that aren't. And we have a manifesto, right? I have, just like Russell has for funnel hackers, right? We have a manifesto, and we live and die by that manifesto. And, with the manifesto, it also has the vocab. So we give them specific vocabulary, like spreading sparkle is our way to tell people, like, when you're in the group, you're always supporting people. You're always motivating them. When you come in the group, you're not there to just have people help you. Like, you're there to help others. So every time you're in the group, you need to be spreading sparkle to, like, 5 other women. And so we have this whole list of vocab and basically rules for our group of how we want them to operate, right? So we don't want any whining. We don't want any complaining. Like, this is the culture that we want. And we're telling them, because people like to be told what to do. Like, if you guys know, we're used to jobs and times and certain times that we can do certain things. And they like schedule. They like rules. They like outline. So when you can tell them, like, here's what you do in this group. Here's what you don't do in this group. Like, here's what we want to make sure that we continue to do. Then it gives them an outline, right? And then the manifesto is basically like helps them become the person that you want them to be, that you want your culture to have. So your manifesto, make them screensavers, make them stickers. That's something that we're mailing out to them soon. And it just helps build that culture in your community.
Yeah, another thing, Mark Zuckerberg, who we follow, because he's Facebook, like he just posted a crazy huge article. It was took me like a half an hour to read it, but basically on the future of Facebook. And in that article, he talks a lot about moving forward, they're focusing on groups. So they're gonna have a lot of tools and stuff moving forward to really like a school is more than just one group. It's there's grade levels and there's sub-communities inside. And so I know that they're gonna be building out a lot of robust parts to that, which I'm really excited for. So our group literally has 14,000 women, and it's insane. We literally have 2 people full-time monitoring the group because it's so crazy. And so I'm really excited to see how they do that. So if you haven't brought your people together, do it. When we used to be called Tool Time Trainer, right? That was the brand before we changed it to Lady
That was
Boss.
my maiden name. I did just want to be called a tool, guys, okay?
Her maiden name's Tool. And I remember Yada was like, Kaelin, what do you call your tribe? And we're Tools? I don't think we call them that. I was
like, that sounds bad.
We don't say that.
Let's not do that.
So the moral there is when you're when you're working on your culture and your group and your tribe, bring them together. I mean, when we first started, we were because we're a monthly membership. We were we're so scared people are going to cancel. We don't want to contact them.
Don't talk to them ever.
It was the dumbest thing ever. As soon as we started reaching out and brought the group, it's the group is the lifeblood of the entire thing now.
Yeah.
Literally, it wouldn't even be anything close to what it is now if it wasn't for that community. So the culture is so key in this event and just seeing how Russell does ClickFunnels. And I think it's so funny how Russell's telling us how he's selling us when while he's selling us. It's the funniest thing. I'm but I'm still buying. I'm let's go. And so culture is key. So number 3 is
authenticity. So this is really important, guys. Being authentic, being you, being yourself. And I know a lot of the times in this room, we feel oh man, that's so great, or that's such a great idea. I could just, I could try to be more like them, or I could try to do what they're doing. And, it just doesn't come off as yourself, right? And when you step into what your personal superpower is, not trying to be Russell or not trying to be Alex or be James, and just be yourself and be authentic to who you are, then you can truly let your superpower shine, which is what makes you unique, right? Versus just trying to be like someone else. And so if you guys know me, I'm super quirky, super weird, super loud, super crazy. I just say whatever's on my mind. My poor husband. But and just being authentic to that and not feeling because sometimes we feel for people to see us as the expert, that we have to be level 10 and be talking to them at level 1. But the way that people see us as the expert is when we're able to be a level 10, but to come down to the level 1 and the level 2 and say, hey, let me take your hand, let me explain it to you and help walk you up the ladder to help you be a 4, a 5, and a 6 and become knowledgeable. You don't become an expert by being a 10 talking to a 1 to sound cool, right? When you can actually connect the 2 and you can come to their level and see where they're at, if they're a 1 or a 2 or a 3, you become the expert by just saying, hey, I know where you've been because I've been there. That's my story too. Let me hold your hand. Let me show you what I did. Let me help you along the way and actually get on their level and speak their language. Then they can see you as that. And the really easiest way to be authentic is to be transparent. And so this is like the number one thing that I did on my transformation journey was I was so transparent with everything that I did and still am. Like, you know, you hear Russell talk about me like taking pre-workout in the morning and like wandering around and saying crazy things on Snapchat. It's because, you know, I try to be transparent to them and show them that I'm a real person, that like I make mistakes too, that like that cupcake over there that someone's eating like is actually bugging me, but like I'm having to work on it mentally, right, to overcome it. And when you're transparent, when you show them that side of you, that's what makes you authentic. And they're like, wow, that's real. Because real is what wins hands down every single day. Because people aren't dumb, right? People aren't dumb. Like you guys, you know when someone's being real and when someone's just trying to sell to you, right? And so the people that you respect the most are the people that are the realest.
People don't care what you know until they know that you care, and it just rings so true. And Gary Vaynerchuk says, like, go as far down the truth barrel as you can. And I heard that, and I was like, it's so true, because like she's so authentic. She shows the heart. Like, I'm struggling today, right? And it's hard for me to relate a lot sometimes because I'm not a female. I don't struggle with that. I've never been overweight a day in my life, but I can see, like just showing the side of things where you're like, man, like there's when Russell was talking about maintaining certainty, you can still have certainty in what you believe and who you are and what you stand for while you show who you really are and that you're still struggling. Like be authentic and be real. And I think like with brands, and I feel like the way things are moving, like people are so connected. Like social media has opened up this gateway in the last 10 years. Facebook's only 10 years old. Like where people are so connected and transparency is so important. We can go live and show 1 million people right now, right? Like we're smart. Like we see like our awareness of what other people do and how they live is like so heightened now that like marketing is like really, I think it's going to boil down to like who's real and who's not, you know? And so being real and showing that every single day and documenting and like just being clear and transparent is going to be your fastest path, not being like the guru and like you have to know what you're talking about, right? But I think there's a key difference there. Does that make sense? Awesome. So now we're gonna move to the tangible. So you see how the top is black? Hers were pink. I'm like, there's pink all over my slides, but I'll get over it, right?
He's in denial that he works at Lady Boss.
I'm in denial, yeah. She was like trying to paint the wall in our office, the entire wall pink. I'm like,
because that's our color.
I'm like, there's guys that work here. You can't just have a pink wall.
All right, guys, so the tangible, this is the stuff that is really going to help you move forward in your business, just execution-wise. You should.
So our whole process, I know you're like, what is the funnel? Like our funnel is Facebook ads to a lead magnet to like, I would draw it, but it's like literally really simple. It's like Facebook ads, lead magnet, sales page, 7-day free trial, and then into our program, right? Mm-hmm. And he said draw it out. Do you want me to draw it out? Okay, I'll just draw it out.
Okay, so the biggest thing for us is like, you have to realize that your funnel doesn't start at your squeeze page. It starts with every piece of content that you put out. Okay? The front of your funnel is your content. And one of the things that we do that he's gonna talk about Facebook native is none of our ads are ads.
So that's basically the funnel. It's really kind of simple.
Can you read his handwriting? No.
One person can read it. Yes. Rock and roll. So being Facebook native, like ads that aren't ads, like you don't show up to a wedding, your wedding, in a swimming suit, right?
Right.
You have this picture, you're like, oh, that'd be funny.
You tried.
Yeah, we did get married on the beach, but I wasn't in a swimming suit. And you don't show up on stage, like if I was wearing my pajamas right now, like some people would be like, I guess this is kind of weird, but you just don't do that, right? You dress for the room you're in. And so what I mean when we say like be Facebook native is that when you're running ads, like when you're driving down the freeway, like you do not see the billboards. Like your eyes, like literally, like we create those, what is it, scotomas or whatever, like a blind spot, right? So when you're advertising, if your ad looks like an ad, people scroll. Like when it has the box, like I've tried it. We spent $860,000 on Facebook ads last year. Like I run so many ads, and so we've tried everything. The biggest thing that works is like if you're like go in your newsfeed after this, look at the most viral videos that are going. Look what they look like. Like, what are they doing? How do they meme them? What do they say? How long are they? What's the attention, right? So it's like, you can literally make ads that aren't ads, and you kind of stand out by blending in. I know it sounds weird, but when you're doing marketing and people are smart and they're doing everything they can to not see your ads. Like people do everything they can. They fast forward, commercials. They turn the radio down, and on Facebook it's like you're half a thumb motion away from like not even looking because there's like a button. So we run long form ads. We do videos. Videos and long form is really the only thing that's worked for us. We do page posts only. We don't do like built ads with buttons. We've never done that. It's never worked. And we've been getting 50 cent leads for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like our list, we have like, and like I'm telling you guys numbers because I just want you to understand like this, like the concept itself really works. Like we have like 400,000 people actively subscribed to our email list. And we run a lot of ads. And so when you run things that are real, that feel real, like we've done produced videos, right? Never even touches or comes close to a real live video of you holding your cell phone in your hand.
Yeah, one of our best
Never
ads
comes
right
close.
now is literally me, like a picture of me like crying at my desk, like a real moment. And I was just being transparent. And there was a girl that sent an email that said, Kaelin, you saved my life. And it was just like me in that moment, like being real and telling people how I felt about it. And at the end, it was like, so if you need help, on your own journey, like go here. And it was like the link to the lead magnet, right?
So stand out by fitting in. The weirdest thing I've ever said, but it makes so much sense when you really think about like the way people behave when they consume their Facebook. And I remember going to the first inner circle and I was like, I wanted to hear about all these other places. Like everyone was talking about Facebook. And so like if you want to be a master, it's like you've got to be native. You don't show up to the wedding wearing pajamas. You don't talk on stage in a swimming suit. You got to fit the room that you're in. You got to dress for that. So hopefully that helps. Does that make sense? Yeah, you guys. Okay, good. Hopefully we're getting some meat out of here. All right, so number 5, if I can click. Oh, nope. Nope, there it is. All right, number 5, you can't scale alone. And I think, you lay a foundation, you know your business, you start making sales. I think this is really for someone who's like on the growth pattern right now. I remember when we were at like $5,000 a month, and we probably sat there for
Too long.
4 months or something, 3-4 months.
Yeah.
And I remember literally being like we did it all in the beginning, right? Like picture like Wells Fargo's logo. It's like a horse and buggy, right? Horse and carriage or whatever. Cart, whatever you call it. So literally when you start, you got to build the carriage up. You're building the foundation, right? And like, you're the only horse on that. You're riding that sucker. You're doing videos. We're editing an iMovie on our phone. We Googled how to do this. We Googled how to do that. And you kind of have to be all things, right? You're like, what software can I find? And what can I figure out? But like, once you get going, like you cannot, there's only so much that you can do. And I'm like speaking like someone here right now who's like just afraid to like let this part of their business go. And the craziest thing is that right now, there's probably one thing you need to do in your business, and you're not doing it because you don't like to do it. And there's probably someone else in this room right now who's like, that's what they're amazing at, right? That you just need to lock arms with. Like, I'm not good at designing funnels. So I met a guy like Henry who's like amazing at designing funnels and make stuff look awesome. Like, I'm not good at like figuring out how to manage the people that are running different things. So I know people like James who can do Trello and make all these amazing things happen. And like, and so like, I'm not good at internet marketing. So I'm like, Russell, like, what do we do? You know what I mean? And so you have to build a team, and you have to bring more horses on, and you have to bring another horse on. And another thing is like, it was hard for me, and like, when we opened the office and we're like a real business now, you know what I mean? It's it's like letting the reins, like when you pull the reins, the horse slows down, right? When you let them go, they run. And so it's like, you have to like put people in an environment and equip them, and then let them run and do their thing. Like one of the hardest things for me
is letting go of control.
Letting go of control, right? One of the hardest things for me, like was the ads, right? Because I'm like, man, if our ads didn't work, we wouldn't have a business. If I wasn't running it and in these numbers, and I just taught myself by doing it, and that was one of the hardest things. But I found someone. I was like, man, I trust them. They're awesome. Like, I'm gonna teach them and coach them. And now it's like someone's full time just in there and just using their gifts and talents, because you can equip people to do that, and just like letting go and say, okay, like I'm gonna build, and then you're just gonna fly your chariot. You're gonna be like a dog sled team. You're gonna crush it, like going up a hill in the winter, right? And so that like was just a huge part of my growth process, like in this thing. So hopefully that resonates with someone who's at that point. So anything you want to say about that one?
Nope. Last
Cool.
but not least, the big dog.
We got 3 minutes, so I'm like, we gotta go. So number 6, Facebook Live webinars.
Yes.
Woo! The perfect webinar is absolutely perfect.
Do not change it.
Anybody
If
who
you
has
change
ever
it,
done it,
You hate money.
you hate money.
Do what Russell says
Do what Russell
and buy
says.
all of his stuff.
He didn't even pay us to say that. It's funny.
No, it's just true.
And I'm going to get back to that. I want to bring that, paying people to say stuff. That's important in a second. So Facebook Live webinars is like, once you've mastered your perfect webinar, you've done it, you know it works, take that Facebook Live webinar and do it on, or I'm sorry, take that webinar and do it on Facebook Live. So I want you guys to think of like friction, right? Like when you go like this, everyone go like this, right? What's happening? It starts to get hot, right? Oh, it feels kind of good. My hands are freezing right now.
Really?
It starts to get kind of hot. And eventually, if you did that forever, you would burn your hands off, whatever. But you start a fire, right? Friction starts fire. And so what happens is we're trying to build just one bridge. We're trying to get people to buy our program, right? And so when you do a webinar, you have all these bridges that you have to build, and you lose people along the way. Now, webinars have worked for us, and we crushed it with webinars, and they're amazing. So I'm not saying that they don't work. I'm just saying once you've got it, take it, put it on Facebook Live. You've now eliminated the amount of bridges that people have to cross and that friction that burns them up because you lose them in between the steps, right? They opt in and then they don't show up or whatever. So you're gonna get the most people in front of it that you, like literally, we saw Russell, figures, we saw Russell do a webinar on Facebook Live, and he wrote out the words, the stack on a whiteboard, right? And then he was tearing these strips of paper off of it. I was like,
I want to tear off the strips of paper.
and so he basically condensed it down. We do it about 30 minutes, and it's your fastest way. The perfect webinar is perfect. The whole pitch is perfect. It lines up. It's amazing. And so we saw him do it, and we heard later he did like $1 million in sales on
Probably.
one of
It was
them.
probably $8 million in 20 minutes or something.
Gosh, Russell.
Russell.
And so we're like, let's do that. Let's try that. It's worked for him. Let's do it. So we did one, and literally.
It was later that afternoon, by the way. It wasn't a year later. It was let's just do it, right? Do it afraid.
And so literally we did one, tore it off, condensed it, and I think that Facebook Live did $500,000 in 2 weeks. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy.
That was the phase.
Yeah, it was like that. So if you're there and you've got your webinar, you're working on it, get in front of the most people possible. There's been 3 million or something people who have watched it. They didn't watch the whole thing, obviously, but 3 million people have seen it. You know how long it would take you to accumulate that on an actual webinar? So you want to get eyeballs, right? You want the most people to see it. And so you've got all these bridges that people have to cross, and all this friction that you create, it burns them up. And so it's at the end, you don't have as many people. So using just the most direct way to get it has been Facebook Live webinars.
And
for
just
us,
make sure that you have done your webinar. Don't just take it to Facebook Live and try to do it, right? You have to fail behind the slides first, okay? Because you don't want people watching you crash and burn live on Facebook, okay? So I just want to preface that with you guys. Make sure that you have a converting webinar, one that is making money before you take it to Facebook Live, okay? Because as you know, when you do stuff live, stuff happens. So you have to prepare yourself and practice for that before you just go do it on Facebook Live.
So guys, these are just things that have rolled with us, and we're just so grateful to be here and to be a part of ClickFunnels and to have the opportunity to help the women that we help and do what we do. And I hope that the things that we said resonate with you. I think we're doing the round table. Is that after this? Mm-hmm. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask us. We'd love to help you. And you guys you got to realize you guys have so many gifts and talents and amazing things inside of you that are just incredible, that are just waiting to be shared. And if you would just execute on all of the information, you just have to do it. And if you use these steps and these processes that you're learning here and over the next 2 days, you cannot fail. You can absolutely not fail. And I heard one thing that resonated with me so strong, and I wanted to say it to you guys, is we were scared when we did the launch. We were scared when we didn't go find a job and we chased the dream. We were scared when we did Facebook Live. I didn't do the Facebook Live.
I was terrified to do my first videos or even post stuff on Facebook at all. I was I don't want to be rejected. I was terrified, right?
We've been I'm scared to get up here. I've talked in front of groups every time, but you do it afraid. Every single time, you just do it afraid. Someone said that to me once at a seminar, and I was like, man, I guess you don't ever really, you're not like kind of scared, but you just do it afraid. So hopefully what we said has helped you guys, and we just encourage you, just do it afraid. So thank you guys.
You guys stand up, give it up for Kaelin and Brandon.
Thank you.
$2 million, that is gangsta.